As a personality trait, I tend to be resistant to certain types of change. In particular, I will resist change when that means pushing myself far out of my comfort zone. I will engage and do well with things I love, tasks that give me pleasure and comfort. I will push myself and be super motivated to work with anything that sparks my intellect and curiosity. Try to make me go for something I dislike, something I fear, something that makes me feel uncomfortable and evokes any kind of negative emotions. And chances are I won't respond very nicely. I will resist with all my might. For the majority of my life, I was the small rock, a rock that comes with a set of roots that keeps me grounded. I can get easily planted in new soil, wherever that may be, and flourish there. The tricky thing is how to get me rolling, get me going for this new soil and to let go of the old one, especially when I expect the ride not to be pleasurable. I can be very stubborn. It wasn't until someone special entered my life, who can be as stubborn as me, always pushing me mentally and physically. I have noticed firsthand how grateful I feel when I find myself afterwards on the other side when I have accomplished things I had considered impossible or simply just not for me. Even if the ride had been unpleasant in some instances, even if I would never do it again, it still gives me a feeling of satisfaction and power that I can do a few more things than I'd never imagined possible. Know that I will be forever grateful, because you made me realize how critically important life experiences are. For the majority of my life, fear has dictated the choices I made when it comes to making new experiences. What would others think? Don't I look stupid in swimwear? It's interesting having only one perspective, because it seems to me that my view of the world will only really change based on what I and not others experience. Though I don't believe in fate, we do seem to be at the mercy of our own experiences. Bear with me when I say we have no choice but to see the world in the way that we've seen it. This changes the way I look at everyone else. To expect others to even be able to have the same views and feelings you do about the world is to suggest that they have experienced all that you have. In the end, we all crave experiences because there is simply no replacement for experience. That's why we travel, go to concerts and amusement parks, why we go horseback riding in the mountains or shark diving in the Pacific. Humans are programmed to look for new experiences, and they all change us. They make us happy, bitter, homesick, cynical, open-minded, angry, scared, compassionate, and courageous. Combined, they broaden our mind and temper our extremes. There's a quote from the venerable Chinese philosopher Confucius that says, "When I hear, I forget. When I see, I remember. When I do, I understand." More than 2,000 years later, his wisdom still holds true. And in the words of psychologist Brock Bastian, the most thrilling moments of our lives are often balanced on a knife edge between pleasure and pain. For as long as I can think, I would consider myself a silent adventurer, having dozens of things on my bucket list. But if we're honest, most bucket lists get covered with weeds of mind-numbing routines and false priorities. As humans, we are a habitual species. What we do day in and day out becomes like an automatic program because our mind and body likes to find the easiest, most comfortable pattern to follow. We live in a perpetual routine. Get up, put clothes on, ignore the messy room, walk to the train station, get coffee, ride the train, and walk to the office, and so on. We could probably close our eyes and stand a fair chance of getting most of these things done without grievous injury. We don't pay a lot of attention to the details of those experiences, and we don't remember them very well. Events that are different, outside of our ordinary routine, will attract our attention because our brains are hardwired to remember new experiences. In other words, the more novel the experience, the stronger the memory. That's why we have strong, vivid memories of climbing through a high ropes course, zip-lining, or visiting new places, but not so much brushing our teeth 3 weeks ago. While novelty greatly affects our memory of an experience, so does the number of different types of sensory stimuli involved. Our brain stores the sensory aspects of an event in different locations, and when we remember an event, the different sensory aspects pull together to form a cohesive memory. The sounds and smells flash through your mind. You might remember what you were wearing, the color of the flowers on the table. The more sensory inputs, sight, sound, smell, taste, and touch, the stronger and more vivid the memory will be. In other words, when we remember a previous event from our lives, we have the capacity to resubmerge ourselves in the experience. Certain experiences have the capacity to create memories that are so strong it's like we are having the experience all over again. One of the most integral parts of growing to become conscious and empathetic humans is connecting with other people. And experiences are things we often share, whether it's because friends or family experience it with us or because we love telling them and posting about it. People bond over shared life adventures. After all, human beings are social animals. It's who we are, and one of the most important building blocks of our personality and society as a whole. We build and develop those social connections through shared experiences. And in the words of motivational speaker Tony Robbins, the quality of your life is the quality of your relationships. In our modern digital age, the idea of sharing an experience has taken on a new level. Instead of only participating in the experience with someone else, we also think about how we might share the experience on social media with friends, but also complete strangers. Shareable content as a new social currency is important because it contributes to our sense of well-being and fulfillment. A shared experience allows us to truly feel our own and others' emotions, to develop our ability for emotional empathy and to understand each other better. Prakash Sutatar, co-founder at the J.C. Maxwell Science Institute and author of Psychology of Sharing, Why Do People Share on Social Media, writes, "The reason is we are biologically wired to talk about ourselves. It is pleasurable talking about ourselves. It is found that when we share about ourselves, or thoughts, experiences, the reward-seeking part of the brain gets activated. It's the same part which gets activated when we get food or money. We talk or share about things which give higher social currency. Just as people use the money to buy products or services, they use social currency to achieve desired positive impressions among their families, friends, and colleagues." End quote. From the time cavemen sat around campfires and told stories about a challenging bear hunt or a fishing adventure, stories offered an effective mechanism for knowledge transfer. From this perspective, the campfire was the social media platform of the day that congregated all community members to engage in an in-person information exchange. And that's how communities developed shared identities and cultures. Have you ever seen a child get ready for bed faster when you offer to tell him or her a story? When kids have this to look forward to, their eyes light up, they rush through the bathroom and get changed into their pajamas. Stories are magical. When we read a book or watch a movie, there are certain parts that will stand out in our memory. First and foremost, the ending. Did the couple fall in love? Did the hero stop the villain? The same is true for our real-life experiences. We are natural storytellers and we replay experiences in our minds over and over. All elements of an experience are important, but the ending is particularly critical. The ending is the strongest component of how we make future decisions. When we are ready to make a decision, we rely on our memories of an experience. Our remembering self will focus on peaks, either best or worst, and the ending. How did the story conclude? To help us make that decision. Psychologists call it the peak-end rule. The experience of being a human is inseparable from our ability to remember. You can't build relationships without memories. You can't prepare for the future if you don't remember the past. Experiences shape our identity. In other words, you are your experiences. No matter how much we love our material possessions, they require care, attention, maintenance, and organization. And in the end, it's just stuff existing outside of ourselves, taking up physical space in our homes and mental space in our minds. However, buying things does make us happy for a while. We are excited at first, until we adapt to them. That's why we stop cradling the things we buy like a newborn baby within a few weeks, because they eventually become our new normal. Happiness and satisfaction provided by new things quickly decreases over time. This is not so with experiences, which actually become more meaningful with time. Which brings us to our last point, time. Do you often wonder how time flies by so fast? Life seems to be slipping through your fingers with each passing day, leaving you wondering if that's all there is to life. If you want to feel alive and in touch with the flow of life, new experiences are essential. Neuroscientists say by living the same routine every day, we feed our minds with the same input and hence there's nothing much to absorb, and time seems to fly by. New experiences break this cycle, and our brain is able to experience the value of each moment much more intense. In the end, you will regret not pursuing an experience more than regretting not purchasing an item. That's because experiences are totally unique, and when you face the end of your story, you won't be able to go back in time. So ask yourself, is your story moving you forward or keeping you in the past? That's why I encourage you to take that trip, go to that concert, and say yes to that adventure. It will bring you more lasting happiness and stuff, and the memories will last a lifetime. If you found value and enjoyed watching, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos.